So I'm gonna talk about Due Date, which is my favorite comedy movie of all time. And by all time, I mean past, present, and the future, because I have time travel to the future and I've confirmed with my future self. And guess what? Due Date is still my favorite movie. I love movies. I love movies. So, being a worshipper of cinema, I should have a better answer for this question. What's the movie that you've rewatched the most? But for me, it's Due Date. You might expect me to say like, no, not that you will expect anything. I don't even know anything you are watching or anything. But maybe people might expect that I'll say Godfather, Scarface, Carlitos Way, any European films, or I don't know, let's say Krzysztof Kieslowski's Three Colors trilogy, or Japanese film Akira Kurosawa, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, and Yasuhiro Ozu, Carl Theodor Dreyer, Darren Aronofsky, Quentin Tarantino. These cliche names: Quentin Tarantino, Paul Thomas Anderson, Christopher Nolan, and what else? Anurag Kashyap, Spike Lee, Billy Wilder, Woody Allen, Groucho Marx. I love all their films. And I could have just stopped at just 2 or 3 names, but I kept on going because I love movies, guys. And yeah, and also because I wanted to show off. I wanted you to be like, wow, I have never heard these names. No, wow, Sas, he must be really smart. I'm not. Yeah, so I just love uttering their names. When I'm not doing anything, I'm just wow. Martin Scorsese, my favorite director, the great Martin Scorsese. I don't love any director's work more than I love his. I love his films, all Martin Scorsese films. If you just ask me, just name all your films, I'll just say Martin Scorsese. Go. I love all his films, and also I love uttering their names, man. I just love their films, and I just get a hard on just even thinking about them. I don't get hard on thinking about them. No, it didn't come out right. I don't love them. I love their films, and I get I get hard on watching their films. I'm watching the wrong kind of films. No, I don't get hard on watching their films. I said something wrong there. Okay, let's move on. But what is it about this film that makes me keep coming back to it again and again? And my best possible guess is it is some futuristic technology that the humankind has yet to discover, and even the makers of the film aren't even aware of. Yes, this is after tiring hours of thinking I came up with, and it is really believable for me. Sounds too fucking believable. I don't know about you guys, but it is too fucking believable for me. Okay, now let's where to begin. Characters. Let's talk about the characters. In my opinion, characters are the most important aspect of writing. Write great characters and you can make the audience sit through a lame ass plot. I'm not saying this movie has a lame ass plot or anything, but I'm saying in general. So the two characters of this film are Peter and Ethan. Peter played by Robert Downey Jr. and Ethan played by Zach Galifianakis. So first I'll talk about Peter. What makes Peter likable? Firstly, do I like Peter? Okay, remove Ethan from the picture and now we have a Peter guy, pissed off all the time, pissed off about everything. We are following him throughout the story. Would I like him? Maybe not, but pair him with Ethan and you have the greatest fucking duo ever. Okay, so from the beginning of the film there were no attempts made to make Peter likable. First thing is like Peter ranting about baby names. So his wife suggests some names and Peter is like, these are all boys' names, so let's think about something else. And this really funny scene. So Peter is in a cab heading to the airport and this driver, really nice guy, he's trying to have a conversation with Peter and Peter is not on the phone, trying to ignore him and all. He's on the phone with his wife. So Peter asks his wife, hey darling, what are you wearing? And the driver mistook this question for him and answered like, yeah, it's a nice suit and I'm glad you noticed. And Peter's like, I'm talking to my wife. And then he says to his wife, nothing baby, it's just a driver. And the next fucking shot is just, not even the reaction of the driver, just, from the back seat, Peter's point of view, the back shot of driver just keeping on driving. It is so hilarious to me. This is really funny scene. Okay, and then the first interaction of Peter and Ethan, and Peter tells Ethan that your dad didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. First scene. Okay, then what made us stick to that personality of his? The answer is Ethan. And exactly what was that scene, that made the audience be like, yeah, he's hot-headed, says whatever he feels like, doesn't hold back, but he's a good fella, he's a nice guy. And I would say the scene where Peter ditches Ethan, takes his car, and now he's heading to California. But what does he see in his car? Ethan's dad's ashes. What does he do? He does what makes it a fucking movie. Because I am talking about it, that means it is Peter comes back, and what does he bring? He brings donuts for Ethan. That's the most important. Everything that Ethan made Peter go through throughout the film, can you really blame Peter for being pissed off all the time? Any other character spits on a dog, I'm out. Immediately I'm disconnected from the movie. I don't give a shit how good the film was until then. I just cannot watch that scene. But we have spent some good amount of time with Peter, come quite a long way with him, so we spare him. Also, this Peter also feels bad for spitting at Ethan's dog, Sunny. And I felt really bad, that scene when Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr. Sorry, Jamie Foxx character. I forgot the name. And so his character and Peter, now they are making the best use of ditch, and I felt so bad for Sunny. I get it, and I didn't Peter. He was taking revenge on Peter. Sorry, he was taking revenge on Sunny. I'm just mixing their names. He's taking revenge on Ethan, but Sunny, bro, I felt really bad. But Peter also cares for Ethan. He loves Ethan. This caring for each other, love for each other, this bonding is what makes it a great fucking movie. Now let's talk about Ethan and Sunny. I can't picture them apart, and I'm sure Ethan wouldn't want that either. Ethan at first, comes across like a sweet, naive guy. He doesn't say ridiculous things just to sound funny. He just says things. He's a nice guy. He wants to have a conversation with you. Only later in the film we realize that that's who he is. The thoughts he have, the words that come out of his mouth, that is who he is. He doesn't say ridiculous things to sound funny. He just says things. Okay. Another thing that make me love Ethan is his night routine, which I share. Maybe that's why I love this film so fucking much. That is why maybe I keep coming back. Ethan's dad, according to me, is the soul of this film. Not his dad, his ashes, his remains. Think about it. All the scenes that made us care for Peter and Ethan are the scenes involving their fathers. So when Peter is narrating the story of how his father abandoned him, right after Ethan finished his story of how great his father was, he was a real people person, and after Peter finishes his story, Ethan starts laughing and says, "My father would never do that. He loved me." It crushed Peter. Nothing Ethan did or said throughout the rest of the film hurt him as much as those words did, I think. When Ethan enacts a scene for Peter where he's playing a coach and he gets a call from his wife who wants a divorce, and he's crying to her, telling her that, please don't leave me, I don't want to be alone, my father just left me. Also, this great scene when, it's a funny scene, but also it's kind of sad, when they find out that his dad's ashes were served as coffee, and Ethan rushes to get the can, takes it, drops it open, bumps into something, drops it open, and then Peter walks up to him to help him. It shows how Peter cares for Ethan. Ethan was having a really hard time saying goodbye to his dad. He did not want to travel alone with his father's ashes. So, in my opinion, that is Ethan's dad is the heart of the story. What I did not like about the film, I'd say this whole misdirection attempt at making us believe Peter's wife might be cheating on him with his friend. I mean, what's this whole framed photograph of Peter's friend and his wife doing at his house? I guess that was the only way they had to, to raise suspicion and, raise the audience's eyebrow. Not a big deal, but it's too fucking obvious to me, after watching this film for so many times. And another scene is that whole Mexico border chase sequence. Why do you have to add that random chase sequence? The film is going great, man. Why? Not having that scene does not change anything. It would still be a great fucking movie. I guess, I think why they did was they had to show, Ethan stood up for Peter, which he previously failed to do so when Peter was, getting his ass kicked by a handicapped hillbilly. Words of Peter, not mine. Yeah, these only two scenes. And also not, bothered me that these two scenes did not bother me, when I watched, let's say, for the first 2 or 3 times. It's after, watching for more than, I think I have seen this film for more than 5 times. Now, these two scenes doesn't just sit right with me. So what are my favorite scenes from this film? Every single one. I loved every fucking frame from this fucking movie. I love this movie. So, but if I have to pick, I'd say this Chili's scene. I love that scene. Me and my boys at Chili's. You know where I was when my wife was pregnant? Chili's. And I love how, Ethan was supporting that guy instead of insisting just like Peter. It gets busier on a Wednesday night though. And the scene where Peter was fighting with the kids. And when he sucker punched that, kid. I love that scene. I shouldn't be laughing. When Ethan started smoking with the windows closed and Peter finally realized how great of a guy Ethan is. To put it better, he was stoned to realization. The Grand Canyon scene when Peter and Ethan get things off their chest. So first, Peter gets his things off his chest. Now it's Ethan's turn. He gets things off his chest. He tells him that, I had your wallet all along. And I just didn't want to travel alone. I was so sad and all. But we empathize with Ethan, but you cannot expect Peter to do so. Peter being Peter. The last goodbye scene of Ethan and Peter. 2 dialogues summarize, how each character felt about this journey. So Ethan said, "It's been a real pleasure, Peter." And Peter goes, "Been a lot of things." It's a great comedy with a heart of gold. My favorite dialogue from this film. I've been called a lot of things, but inappropriate? That's some fucked up shit. Shakespeare, ever heard of him? Yes, Peter, I have. He's a pirate, and it's Shakespeare. When Ethan drinks the coffee made from his father's ashes and says, "Delicious." What else do you exchange? Body fluids? What? Ethan thinks he's asking for a definition, and he goes, "It's when your urine turns white." After the accident, when Ethan finally wakes up from his sleep and goes, "I'll see the rental agreement. I have coverage. I despise you on a cellular level." Yeah, he really enjoyed coffee. And in the end, he was enjoyed as coffee. Oh, cheapers creepers. It's a made-up name. Yeah, I made it up. What kind of a comedy film is it? Not a situational comedy, but a dialogue funny comedy. That's what I call it. The characters are not saying things to sound funny. The characters are saying things that they would say being who they are. Peter will not start acting like, Ethan just to make the scene funnier. Peter will be fucking Peter for the rest of the fucking movie. And Ethan will be Ethan. Ethan can get away with saying ridiculous stuff. And we won't be like, why is he talking like that? Because we have accepted Peter for who he is. Create funny characters, create characters and let them do the talking. That's the route the writers took, the best fucking route. Unbelievable comedy is what you can also call it. Shock comedy, for the lack of a better word. Something like, you would find really hard to digest if you heard something like that happen to someone in real life. You wouldn't laugh, that's for sure. Yeah, a serious comedy, an oxymoron. And writers did a great fucking thing. They did not ruin the film by employing comedy. What do I mean? Comedy does its job well without ruining what makes this film so fucking great, the friendship of Ethan and Peter. It does not dig its grave by employing comedy in heartwarming and touching scenes. Comedy has its place. There's comedy and there's some touching scenes that that emotional connect of that movie. The soul of this film. Two separate things. Will not ruin one for the other. Okay. Favorite music from the film is Neil Young's song "Old Man Look at My Life." That's a great fucking song. When Peter and Ethan are just looking at the passing scenery when this song is playing. Great scene. And then that scene, Ice Cube song, I think. You check yourself before you wreck yourself. The cinematography of the film. It's a really good looking film. Lawrence Sher did the cinematography. Lawrence Sher is the recipient of Christian Bale Explosion. So here are my favorite frames from the film. Final thoughts on the film. It's a great fucking movie. That should be obvious after my, constant blabbering. I don't know for how long I've been going. It's a great movie. Watch it if you haven't seen it. And thank you for watching this video.